So apparently the Fever just leaked their starting five. According to this graphic right here,
the Indiana Fever may have just flipped the WNBA on its head after a major starting five leak that's got everyone buzzing. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Aaliyah Boston. Yes, that's the projected lineup. We're talking 5 All-Stars here. The past 2 Rookie of the Year winners and 3 players on max contracts all sharing the court. And trust me, we're just getting started. Stick around because we're diving into all the different lineup combos the Fever could use, and why every other team should be watching closely. This squad doesn't just have 5 stars. They've got 9 players who could legitimately start depending on the matchup. And later on, Stephanie White reveals the type of offense she plans to run to manage all this talent.
And yeah, this is apparently what it's going to be. Caitlin Clark at the 1, Kelsey Mitchell at the 2, DeWanna Bonner at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5. Obviously.
So, what does this monster of a lineup mean for the rest of the WNBA? And how will chemistry develop when you've got this much talent in one locker room? Believe it or not, the real headline might be Sophie Cunningham's unexpected reaction to her new role. One that signals this team might finally have cracked the championship code. But first, let's break down what makes this particular 5 so unique.
Because in order for the Fever to achieve the goals that they have in front of them, everyone is going to need to buy into their role, and it's up to Stephanie White to put the best lineups out there, the best lineup combinations, and all of that. I took a stab at projecting what the starting 5 will be, and it's, not a huge leap, but obviously Caitlin Clark's going to be the point guard.
It all starts with Caitlin Clark, the generational player whose vision and unlimited shooting range are already reshaping how the game is played. She sees passing lanes before they even open, and people say she needs to be guarded the moment she enters the gym.
Listen, you talk about players that change the game when they're on the court, whether they're touching the ball or not. You have to guard her when she steps into the gym. And so I don't think we've seen anything like that in women's basketball. I've played against a number of great shooters.
Yes.
Somebody that when they walk in the gym, you have to guard them. And I think the way the game is played has allowed her to showcase that skill, to be able to take that shot. That shot's being a good shot. It speaks to where basketball is right now.
Next to her is Kelsey Mitchell, one of the most dynamic scorers in the league, putting up over 19 points a game last season with her ability to generate shots against anyone.
Kelsey Mitchell, the shooting guard, the most potent backcourt in the WNBA. I think DeWanna Bonner will be the Swiss Army knife kind of player at the 3.
Then we've got DeWanna Bonner, bringing championship experience and length at 6'4" that makes her a walking matchup nightmare on offense and defense. Add Natasha Howard, a defensive force who thrives in transition and knows how to execute in pick-and-roll situations. And of course, anchoring the post is 2023 Rookie of the Year, Aaliyah Boston. Her footwork, strength, and high IQ in the paint make her a problem for anyone trying to defend her.
Natasha Howard fills that hole that they had at power forward, especially they were lacking somebody who could run the floor, catch, and finish. Aaliyah Boston is the center who doesn't hunt for shots but can be a key cog on both ends.
This lineup works like a symphony. Every player complements the others. The floor spacing will be a nightmare for opposing defenses. Try doubling Clark? Mitchell will make you pay. Focus on the perimeter? Boston goes to work inside. Collapse on the inside. Clark, Mitchell, Howard, and Bonner can all hit threes. The blend of scoring, playmaking, and defense makes this starting 5 nearly impossible to guard straight up.
It was already tougher to load up on Kelsey Mitchell last year because Caitlin Clark was there. And when Kelsey's able to get out in transition, she's so fast. And when she's able to take you one-on-one, there ain't much you can do.
And let's not overlook the budding connection between Clark and Boston. These two could become the WNBA's most dangerous young duo. Boston's screens and rim rolls combined with Clark's laser-guided passes. That's a highlight reel waiting to happen. Their chemistry is only going to grow, and they've already got the tools to be one of the best tandems we've seen in years. Don't take it from me, even Stephanie White is singing their praises, already calling them a future all-time duo.
When you think about the great point guards and post players that our game, not just our league, but our game has seen, they are going to go down in history as the greatest. And I'm excited about the opportunity to work with them. I'm excited about the opportunity that we have to build from those starting points and build out, and for the longevity that those two could have in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and hanging banners in this building.
Together, this group of 5 brings over 80 points per game from last season. With Clark orchestrating the offense, expect everyone's efficiency to rise. The Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty should take note. The Aces' smaller lineup may get punished inside, and the Liberty's defensive rotations will be stretched trying to cover all 5 weapons. This isn't a build-for-the-future team anymore. The Fever are trying to win right now.
Be Cunningham, the first player off the bench to provide lineup versatility and shooting. Either way, there are a lot of options.
But don't sleep on what might be Indiana's biggest X factors: Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull. Sophie's response to coming off the bench? Pure class. No ego, no frustration, just excitement to support Clark and contribute however she can. That's not just rare in professional sports. It's nearly unheard of.
So I saw Sophie Cunningham talk about how she is thrilled to join a supporting role next to Caitlin Clark and that she's playing on a stacked Fever squad.
Think about it. How many times have we seen veterans fight against a bench role? Allen Iverson refused it with Memphis and walked away from the game. Carmelo Anthony clashed with the Rockets when his role didn't match his expectations. In contrast, Cunningham's complete buy-in could be the culture glue that holds this team together. It's a sacrifice that may end up being the key to their success.
Sophie Cunningham, who I mentioned before, who I do think will be the first player off the bench because of all of the things she can bring to the team, where they can go small with her and spread the floor. I mean, you can go real small. You could play Howard at center and Cunningham at the 4, something like that. Really space the floor out and give teams a different look. She can play a traditional spot on the wing, of course, and she has a little bit more, I think they're listed at the same height, but she has a little bit more length and size, I believe, than Lexi Hull. And that's, another shooter out on the floor.
Championship caliber teams are built on more than just talent. They're fueled by players who fully embrace their roles. And that's exactly what makes Sophie Cunningham so valuable to the Indiana Fever. Her unselfish mindset signals a major cultural shift happening in Indiana, one where personal stats take a backseat to team success. It's the kind of attitude head coach Stephanie White needs to take this collection of stars and mold them into a true title contender. Cunningham's ability to guard multiple positions, shoot from deep, and bring relentless energy off the bench gives Indiana an edge most teams don't have. As the projected 6th woman, she brings the kind of skill that could easily be starting on other teams. But instead of pushing for the spotlight, she's laser-focused on what helps the Fever win. That kind of self-awareness and maturity is rare and essential for any team with championship aspirations.
And then there's Lexi Hull, who was relied upon a little bit too much a season ago. Lexi's a little undersized to guard some of the players that she had to guard and would get in foul trouble. And when she got in foul trouble, it was really debilitating for the team. Now I think she can bring that energy all the time and not have to worry about the foul trouble because of the lineup versatility that they have. For Lexi, the key is, can she continue to hit at the clip from 3 that she did the second half of last season? And she's got to get better at finishing around the cup. I mean, that's an area of improvement.
Lexi Hull adds even more firepower to the bench unit. She's a gritty defender who brings full court pressure and never takes a play off. Need someone to shut down an opponent's top scorer? Hull's your answer. Need someone to space the floor? She quietly led the entire WNBA in three-point shooting percentage last season. Whether it's hitting a timely corner 3 or diving for a loose ball, Hull's contributions aren't flashy, but they're crucial.
I think we've seen a lot of Brianna Turner working out with the team. I think her ability to set screens, hopefully catch and finish, could give her some minutes, because Aaliyah Boston really the only kind of what you would consider a center on the squad at this moment.
Then there's Brianna Turner, the unsung hero of Indiana's interior game. She's not someone you'll see taking over on the scoreboard, but her ability to set brutal screens and finish plays in traffic makes her a perfect complement to playmakers like Caitlin Clark. With so much attention drawn to shooters on the perimeter, Turner becomes a key finisher in the paint, capitalizing on all the space that Clark's gravity creates. Meanwhile, Lexi Hull and Brianna Turner form a defensive duo that keeps Indiana's energy up when the starters rest. Hull's hustle keeps the tempo high, while Turner protects the rim and cleans up the glass. They're the glue players every successful team needs, doing the dirty work, staying locked in, and making sure there's no drop-off in intensity when the bench comes in.
Colson maybe plays a little bit more than we figured because Clark will get spelled a bit more often this season, I would imagine. I also could see some Clark-Colson two-guard lineups out there at times to let Clark play off the ball a little bit more, to let Colson apply defensive pressure.
Let's not forget Sydney Colson either. With a demanding sophomore campaign ahead for Clark, Colson's presence gives the Fever a calming, experienced voice to steady the ship. Her leadership ensures the offense doesn't miss a beat when Clark takes a breather. She knows how to manage the clock, direct traffic, and keep everyone involved. What really separates this Indiana Fever squad, though, is the way their bench mirrors their starters. The playing style stays consistent, the pressure doesn't let up, and the opponents don't get a break. That kind of non-stop intensity is incredibly rare in the WNBA, and it turns close games into blowout wins by the fourth quarter.
You'll see Clark in motion more this year to free her up for cleaner looks. You know, Clark's three-point percentage was not probably where it needed to be. I think one way to get that up is to get her cleaner looks off the ball at times, though she should still have the ball the lion's share of the time. What they really did do is add those rim runners around her.
Now let's talk about something revolutionary: how the Fever plan to use Caitlin Clark this season. Forget everything you know about how point guards are traditionally used in the WNBA. Indiana's not running the usual setup where the floor general stands at the top of the key and calls out plays. Nope, they're taking a page out of Golden State's Steph Curry playbook and putting Clark in constant motion. What did Stephanie White have to say about how she'll manage the offense?
So I also want our players to use their instincts and to play free. You know, we want to make plays, not run plays, right? We want to have sets that give us certain spacing that we want, depending upon our rotations, who's on the floor, who we want to attack, what matchups we want to get to, how can we manipulate them. So we'll have certain play calls that just give us space to operate, and then whichever play we make, whichever pass we make, determines, you know, one of three actions that our players can read from. And so really giving them the freedom to play within a system.
Picture this. Instead of slowing things down, Clark passes the ball and immediately darts around screens, cuts back door, and relocates to unpredictable spots. It's organized chaos. Defenders are spinning in circles trying to keep up with a shooter who can pull from 30 feet with ease. We're talking full court cardio just to stay in front of her.
And then, of course, you know, when you have more weapons, a lot of people are worried. I don't think they have players who need the ball to score, but they have more players who can score, which is going to make it tougher to load up. It was already tougher to load up on Kelsey Mitchell last year because Caitlin Clark was there. And when Kelsey's able to get out in transition, she's so fast. And when she's able to take you one-on-one, there ain't much you can do. And then Clark, the same thing. What are you going to do now? You're going to have to pick your poison, because you're going to send the whole defense at her again. Well, she's going to pick you apart. You know, they have 5 players who were in the top 30 in scoring last year.
It's not just clever, it's devastating. Defenses in the WNBA are built to handle standard playmakers, not this type of dynamic, free-flowing movement. And with teammates like Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner, who excel in transition and cutting to the rim, the system becomes nearly impossible to stop. Defenders can't leave Clark, but if they stay glued to her, they give up easy looks inside.
You know, what the Fever really needed last year, they got killed on the boards at times. They got killed defensively at times. They lacked a little bit of toughness and oomph. And I think, you know, collectively, the new players fill that mold. I mean, they got players that have been around the block. You know, Sophie is tough and tenacious. You know that DeWanna Bonner has been in every situation imaginable, right? So all of that is huge. Same with Howard. You know, that experience, that's something Sydney Colson talked about, who also has the experience. Everybody that's coming in is having the experience, and it's not often you see such a drastic overhaul.
And it gets even trickier. When Clark moves through the paint, Howard and Bonner time their cuts to perfection. If defenders switch or hedge, they're punished immediately. And let's not forget Hull and Cunningham, Lethal shooters who space the floor and punish any help defense that dares to sag.
Last year, I basically said there were 4 reliable players in Clark, Mitchell, Boston, and Hull. Everybody around that has been reconfigured, and the coach. And, you know, the coach has familiarity with Bonner. She also has familiarity with how to guard Caitlin Clark.
Together, the Indiana Fever's offensive system isn't just effective, it's downright scary. This is no ordinary lineup. It's 5 real scoring threats all moving in sync, constantly switching spots and capitalizing on every defensive mistake. Simple pick and rolls? Now they turn into unpredictable actions with 3 or more scoring options. Basic dribble handoffs? They evolve into sudden backdoor cuts and surprise drives. Every piece of this offense is tailored for versatility and chaos, and defenses won't know what hit them.
And as much as the starting 5 is pretty much dead set right now, I could potentially see one of Sophie Cunningham or Lexi Hull maybe breaking into that starting lineup. I could see that happening at different stages during the year.
But while fans are salivating over the new scheme, one curious roster move has gone largely unnoticed, and it might be more important than people realize. That's the unexpected exit of Temi Fagbenle. Anyone paying attention saw Temi in team photos with coach Stephanie White during off-season workouts. Normally, that's a clear signal a player is part of the plan. Even more puzzling, Temi started in the playoffs last season and played a critical role in both defense and rim running. So when the Fever submitted their protected list for the expansion draft, and Temi wasn't on it, despite having 6 available slots, heads turned.
Do we not remember with Temi? Do we not remember they had a picture of Stephanie White with 6 players? And they were allowed to protect 6 players, and it was Temi as one of the 6? Do we not remember that? Turns out they protected Dantas instead of Temi.
Instead, Indiana chose to protect Demiris Dantas. So what gives? Dantas is a quality player, no doubt, but Fagbenle seemed like the ideal front court partner for Clark, providing rim pressure, defensive stability, and experience. Her ability to run the floor and finish lobs made her an excellent fit for the fast-paced, spacing-heavy offense the Fever are building. Here's what might really be happening. Indiana's front office is playing chess, not checkers. Choosing Dantas might be part of a broader strategic plan, whether it's unlocking new offensive looks, exploring trade opportunities, or simply diversifying skill sets within the second unit. Don't be surprised if there's a ripple effect from this decision that leads to another roster shakeup or mid-season pickup. This team is thinking 2 steps ahead.
I do believe people give way too much credit to social media managers and accounts for the, you know, behind the scenes knowledge that they might have about a team. So I wouldn't take that to the bank, because those were the players that were on the graphic. They could have just been randomly chosen.
Meanwhile, don't sleep on Sophie Cunningham. Even though she's expected to come off the bench, her unique skill set could see her sneak into the starting 5 depending on matchups. She's tough, versatile, and brings a physical edge that could come in handy during tight, playoff-style games. Coach White now has the luxury of tailoring lineups with incredible depth, something few WNBA teams can truly say. That's the hidden strength of this Fever roster: adaptability. While other teams stick to rigid lineups, Indiana has the personnel to adjust on the fly, rotate players without losing rhythm, and rest stars without sacrificing output. That kind of flexibility could be the difference maker in a long season.
But I genuinely think Coulson, Hull, Cunningham, Dantas, Bree Turner would actually win versus last year's starting 5. Because obviously Kelsey Mitchell was injured, Erica Wheeler's Erica Wheeler, Caitlin Clark just wasn't ready, and she was playing shooting guard a lot of that game, let's be real. Aaliyah Boston was not great coming into the season, and Alyssa Smith was arguably their best player. Like, that's the craziness of that. And like, the Fever are so freaking stacked as a team.
And the Fever aren't just making tweaks, they're signaling a full-blown transformation. With veterans like Bonner, Howard, Cunningham, Coulson, and Turner anchoring the team, and young superstars like Caitlin Clark, Mitchell, Hull, and Aaliyah Boston pushing the pace, this squad isn't just built to make noise, they're built to win. Depth, intelligence, toughness, it's all there. This is Indiana's moment. They've quietly built a roster that checks every box and now stands ready to take the league by storm. From bottom dwellers to contenders, this is the Fever Renaissance. And with Caitlin Clark leading the charge, it's only a matter of time before history is made. Are you excited? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.